What's going on, everybody? Today I'm going to be creating this 90s Nickelodeon Hey Dude poster using Adobe Illustrator and then finishing the effects up in Photoshop. If you were around in the 90s, you probably remember this show from Nickelodeon, and I used to love watching it when I was a kid. I had the idea for the poster when I saw this image on Google Images, and I just had to make it. Before we get started, please remember to hit like and subscribe at the bottom, and also click the bell for notifications to be notified every time I upload a new video. Now let's get started. Alright, so I've got my document set up here. So this is an 18 by 24 inch, and let me go ahead and turn on my keycaster. For some reason I always forget to do that. So let me go ahead and turn that on and make sure that we are good. So that way you can see everything that I'm clicking on if you want to follow along, or if you see any techniques in here that you are wondering to yourself, how did he do that? Well, you can just look at the keycaster. So let me put my phone on silent so we don't get any disturbances, and let's get started. So what I'm gonna do is wait, hold on, there we go. All right, so I think what we need to do first, the very first thing we need to do is we need to get our elements together. Okay, so this is the image that I'm gonna be getting the silhouette from. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab my pencil tool, and I'm gonna go a little bit more accurate rather than smooth. That way we can get all of those nice details in. And this part right here is gonna be tedious, so I'm just gonna go ahead and I'll get started just a little bit so you can kind of see what I'm doing. But basically I'm just, it's just kind of like masking in Photoshop. I'm just really kind of going over some rough, just really the general shape of everything. And, also you want to be really careful with it, because you want to make sure that you get all of the areas that do make up the shape itself. But, and then also you can, don't forget, you can also go in and you can combine shapes together. So you don't have to get everything completely done in one motion here. So, and I'll give you an example of that. So let me go ahead and I'll just kind of stop there right at her shoulder, or right above her shoulder, and just kind of bring it back over here, and then go up the collar, and then we'll just complete it right there. So as you can see, like, this kind of gives you an idea of what we're doing. However, when I'm looking at this, I think I'm gonna make it a little bit more, I think I'm gonna push it all the way over, the accuracy, because I want this to be like a nice and rugged type of looking poster. So now that you have an idea of the actual tracing that I'm going to be doing, I'm actually going to go ahead and just fast forward this portion, because this is going to take a good while. So I don't want you to have to sit through it, but I will speed this up. So I'm going to go ahead and go now.
One eternity later.
Okay, finally done with that. I just realized that while I was doing it, that even in the sped up portion of it, it would still take a very long time for you to see everything. But as you can see, we are finally done here. And as you can see right here, everything matches up perfectly with the characters. However, Melody, if you're familiar with the show, Melody is a little bit further away from everybody. So I just kind of brought her in a little bit so you can still see a distinct shape of her silhouette. All right, so now what we're gonna do is we've got our main element. That's kind of our main element, is the cast of the show. So let's go ahead and just kind of get a general idea of where they're all gonna go in relation to the rest of the poster. And what I'd like to do here is I want to also include, so like it's going to be like two-tone basically. The background is going to be a nice yellow, and I'm also going to do like the ground that they're standing on. So what I'm going to do here is just a quick this will actually be quick, just a quick trace of the ground that they're standing on, and basically just want to create the illusion that they're standing on this ground right here, and the ground itself will actually be a different color from the background, obviously, and then also from the main cast themselves. So this doesn't have to be completely perfect. Just remember that we're just doing kind of like a rough thing here, and I'm gonna go ahead and stop it at this point, and I'll show you this really cool trick with the Pathfinder tool. I'm not even gonna try to make the straight lines on that, because one, I don't have time to do it, and two, it's just not necessary when you have this one technique that I'm about to show you. So let's go ahead and finish up the right side of this hill right here. And, you know, like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect, but, you know, we just kind of, you know, we want to get it as close to this image as we can. And this will actually, you know, this will be going off the edge of the poster a little bit, but we can take care of that too. Okay, so now what we'll do is we'll just kind of, I'm going to grab both of these, combine those together, and as you can see, it's just going to go straight off of the edge, which is fine. And then we'll do our little trick with our Pathfinder tool in just a second. Okay, so let's kind of bring this up. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and do it now. So, in the words of Happy Gilmore, I'll just beat him now. Okay, so let's get that to about 21 inches right there. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna draw a shape over this, just a regular old rectangle. Select both of them, and then go to the this right here is called the divide tool. So I went ahead and did that, and basically it just cuts off those edges right there. And we'll cut off this top part, and we'll leave the bottom part of that rectangle so that it's nice and flat. And then what we want to do is grab all of this and then combine it all together. So now this is all one shape, and it's nice and flat on the bottom, you know, like nice and edged and everything like that. So what we want to do is I want to align the cast in the center, and then maybe push them down just a little bit. I think 10 inches is probably good, like 10 inches from the top. What I am going to do here is, and also, so let's go ahead and raise this ground up. So this ground will come up to about right there. We'll leave them, actually, I'm going to make them this dark brown color. And then we'll just kind of make the dirt, well, maybe a little bit lighter. We want it to contrast a little bit. Okay, I think that looks good. And we are going to do a yellow background. It's going to be like a, you know, this nice desert type of motif going on. And let me uncheck that. There we go. For some reason, that Keycaster program keeps rearing its ugly head, and I don't want it to show up. Okay. All right. So now, since I've got the placement of the cast, obviously we've got this this section right here. But what you can do is grab your two bottom anchor points right here and just drag them down right there to the bottom. And let's go ahead and hang a sun up in the sky. And maybe, yeah, 2 inches down, that looks good. And then it's a little bit big. Maybe we'll do something like that right there. And as you can see, we've got the overall shape of everything here. So now let's work on the typography. And now that I'm seeing this, I may, depending on what we do with the typography, I may actually raise up the cast a little bit. But let's nail down the typography first. So this font right here is called West Test, found it on dafont.com. And there's all kinds of different Western fonts that are on the site, but this one actually did jump out to me. So let's go ahead and adjust the kerning here. Let me actually click inside there so we can adjust it. Okay, very good. The spacing in this font is really, really wide, so I don't want it to be too wide. Let's see, what do we do there? -170. Let's do the same thing here. No, not +170, -170. There we go. All right, and then let's kern this. It just needs to be a little bit there. That T is awfully wide, isn't it? It's creating this space in there that I'm not a big fan of, but it's not really that big of a deal. Once we get it all combined together, it'll look good. Okay, and what I'd like to do here is let's go ahead and create outlines, ungroup everything, select the top part, select the bottom part. I want the bottom part to be larger, so let's go maybe like 10 inches right here, and this is really just to get it in proportion with each other. Let's see, I think 7 inches looks good, so stay at the bar none. let's align these, make sure that they're aligned. Good. And let's push it down. Maybe let's see what 1/2 inch looks like. Okay, that looks good. I think we've got a little bit too much spacing in between the bar and none, so let's just kind of bring this over. That's good. And we'll just align these together. Good. And I'd like to do something, you know, maybe, just kind of like those little, like, not flourishes, but those little markings that you would see on like old pieces of wood from the Western era. Like basically it's just like horizontal lines, and I think I'm just going to do that with the letter I right here. And so we'll vertically align this, make sure that's vertically aligned. It's a little bit large, so let's bring it down to probably, 1/2 inch looks good. And then we'll grab all 3 of these, select the center one, and then we'll push out from the sides. That looks good. Okay, so now we'll select all of this, unite it together, and let's bring it onto our artboard, push it all the way down, and then bring it back up 2 inches. Very cool. All right. So I think that for the most part, it looks good. Let me see. Should probably do something like that. Good. All right, so I'm happy with the colors. Let me just see. I'm just curious. Ooh, that's nice. And if we did... Okay, yeah, I like that better. I like that a lot better. Okay, so now that we've got everything here, I really like this this combination of colors, and it's all working really well for me. So let's go ahead and bring all of this into Photoshop, and let's add some effects to it to kind of give it a little bit more of an aged look. All right, I'm here in Photoshop, and now it's time to go into some papers, like some aged paper and things like that. Definitely want to give it like a nice Western type of look. So, like most of these that I've got in here, most of these are very, very clean looking. There may be some that work, or I may use a combination of ones in here. So let's just kind of take a look around and see what we've got. I think I can tell, like, like that one's like a carpet type of thing. That one is nice. Okay, here we go. So like some grungy, rough parchment paper. I like this one. Okay, so let's lay this on top. And let's just play around with some blending modes and see what it looks like. Okay, that's already looking cool. However, you can see from enlarging it, especially in the lighter areas, you can see a little bit of distortions happening, some artifacts happening there, but we can always take care of that. All right, so let's go. Let's keep trying some different blending modes. Even with color burn, that's looking nice, and we've got like a nice even distribution of the pattern there. So overlay is looking nice, but it is blowing out that orange a little bit. Soft light is nice because it's definitely giving it more of an aged look. It looks like it was printed, 30 years ago, and it's been laying out in the sun or something like that. So I do like that. This is pretty cool. It's got that kind of like, aged metal type of look. And divide is really nice. Divide usually gives you some good results. However, when it comes to lighter areas, it can really tend to wash those out and take the colors away. So I think that I'm going to... I think I'm going to stick with multiply. I think I'm going to stick with multiply because, just because of the of how it's treating the colors. Like, it's still a nice even overlay on the actual artwork itself, but as you can see, it's not blowing out anything. So I think I'm going to stick with that. And also, I'm going to give it a slightly more aged look by using blur and Gaussian blur, and maybe take it up to about 3, I think. And let's see what it looks like there. That's looking good. Yeah, so like from a distance, it's not, from a distance and up close, it's not like super duper clean looking. So, which is good. Like, we definitely wanted to have, that aged and Western look. All right, and then the last thing that we'll do is we'll just add a grain layer to the top of it. And I'm going to go here to Camera Raw Filter. And for something like this, I'm going to turn it all the way up. So let's do something like that. And I'd like to do a vignette because that's very, very Western. Okay, and then we'll just use our blending modes. Probably it's going to be overlay, but let's just kind of take a look at it. Oh, that's looking cool. All right. You know, though, I think that let's go ahead and double click on our smart object and direct select this background color. I think I'm going to just lighten it a little bit. Saturation is a little bit too high on that, so let's just kind of bring it over here, hit save, and then go back into Photoshop and see how... Okay, yeah, that's much better, much better. Okay. And let's go ahead and zoom in and see how the grain has treated the rest of that image. Most of the time I would actually go in and desaturate. Actually, I like soft. I think I might like soft light better, but let's see what all everything is doing here. Hard mix is different. It's a very like it's kind of giving me like a Stranger Things vibe a little bit. Subtract is interesting, although I'm not too big of a fan of it. I just think it's interesting. Okay, so I think we're gonna stick with overlay or soft light. Color dodge is good, but it's really blowing out that sun. So I think I'm gonna, let's see. Yeah, all right, I'm gonna stick with overlay. Okay, so here it is. For any of you 90s Nickelodeon fans out there, here is your Stay at the Bar None Hey Dude poster. And hope you enjoyed it, and let me know what you think of it in the comments. Well, thanks a lot for watching me make that Hey Dude poster from 90s Nickelodeon. Had a fun time making it. I always love that show. I might even get it printed off and put it somewhere. I don't know where I'd possibly put it. I'm running out of space everywhere else. I do have this big wall behind me that I haven't put any posters up yet, so maybe that'll make it. Maybe it'll make its way up there. I don't know. If you like this video, please hit like and subscribe, and also click the bell for notifications at the bottom to be notified every time I upload a new video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.